In this episode, I have a Panasonic VCR. Now, the symptom looks like dirty heads. It's not. It's not dirty heads. Could be a bad head. It could be that. It could be a problem in the preamp. It could be the rotary transformer. I guess we're going to have to dig into this one and pinpoint where the problem is and see if there's anything we can do to get this one working. Let's check it out. So I got a VCR with no picture. Of course, this one's full of our favorite modules. Well, I shouldn't say full, but it's got a couple. It's got two of them in here that are loaded with caps that leak. So that might be part of the problem on it. It almost looks like dirty heads is almost what it looks like, but we'll find out. I'm just going to try loading the tape again and we'll observe what it does. It seems to load okay. But there's no picture. Play. Where's play? That didn't work. It's called pressing the wrong button, I guess. Try play. Yeah, it looks like dirty heads. I mean, the symptom I'm seeing now looks like, well, it's either dirty head. It could be bad caps, too. Look. We'll try the old fingernail against the tape and see whether fingernail towards the back side of the tape. So, through the tape. See if the head's clogged. See if the head's clear. I don't think so. How about if I push the cleaning wheel up against it? I'm just pushing the cleaning wheel up. This is the little felt pad, or in this case a little foam pad that's designed to clean the heads, but as you can see, the heads are not coming clean, so this one's got more of a problem than dirty heads. We'll check the RF output from the head preamp. I just threw this tape in initially because I didn't know whether it was going to eat or not. So I don't know where this came from. It's called How You Save $5,000 Every Time You Buy a New Car. Okay, well, I've never saved $5,000 when I bought a new car. I've saved 10 grand. Actually, no, that's incorrect. I saved $5,000 on my first Volt. And I saved 10 grand on my second Volt just because of the government rebates. So as you can see, that tape is also not playing. So I've grabbed the scope and we'll clip onto the appropriate test points on this one, which are, where are they on this one? It should be down here. I just got to see which ones are which. It's not really labeled. There's another test point back here as well. Let's get the scope fired up. See where the problem on this one is. Again, I'm going to have to probe for the test points because I don't remember which one's which on these machines. It's been so damn long since I've worked on this old stuff. Not looking good. Let's just try, see if I can, I don't know if I can pause this without the remote. Pause. So I get somewhat of a picture on pause. But on playback, nothing. How about search? Looks like one of the heads is not working, that's what it looks like. Right, we got signal off one head. It's not a particularly strong signal. But we have signal off of one head. I don't have my trigger point for the PG for triggering the scope. I don't know which one it is. I just have my one probe plugged in. That's why it's drifting. But you can see one head is certainly a lot lower than the other. If I bring my hand in here, will that bring up the level? Might be a bad head. See, I bring my hand near the head and I can see the noise level coming up. I think we may have a worn head or a dead head on this one. Very possible. Certainly looks like a bad head from the description and the symptom on the screen. And the fact that it's not tracking I mean, the RFM looks clear on one, but the other one is just, there's nothing there. Now, it's either a dead head or it could be the rotary transformer is no good. That's also a possibility. We can check that. I can pull the head and we can measure, see if any of the windings are open on the rotary transformer. Although there's two halves, there's the top half and the bottom half, but they certainly have gone bad on some of these machines over the years. But it sure looks like the head is bad. This head's been replaced at one point. You can see it's been soldered. So this head has been replaced at one point. These were not the strongest heads in the world. These ones did wear down relatively quickly on these machines. I remember them quite well. I don't have another one to try, unfortunately. But I can pop the head and we can measure to see if any of the windings are open on either the head or the transformer itself. That's pretty easy to take that out. I can just grab my solder sucker and we'll pop off the head drum and just take a look underneath it. See whether there's anything obvious, whether, you know, if we can spot an open coil, for example, then we know for sure. Okay, let me just I'll measure the resistance. First of all, we'll look at the head chips and see if there's a coil open on one of these. And if that all looks okay, then we'll check the rotary transformer, because sometimes you get an open on one of these windings, either the top side or the bottom side. So, this is the hi-fi head, this one. Got continuity there. Continuity there. Continuity there. 3.7, that's good. 2.8, that's good. So continuity wise, this head is fine. I mean, it could just be worn out with no physical damage at all to the actual head itself. I know I can't get any closer with this camera, but you don't see anything broken on that one, and this one here doesn't look like it's got anything broken on it either. And the head is protruding slightly. So that does not appear to be broken. Physically, it's not broken anyway. We'll check the continuity on the upper side of the rotary transformer. See if there's an open on one of these wires. 2.4, that looks good. This next one here, 2.9, that looks good. 2.2, that looks good. 2.2, that's good. 2.3, that's good. So the rotary transformer does not appear to have an open coil, at least on the side that rotates. I don't know about the bottom side. The bottom side could have an open on it. I'm just going to remount the head, and then we can take a look at the preamp and see if there's a problem in there. I can pull the deck and we can look at the preamp. This is the preamp here. And I can check the other side of the rotary transformer and see whether there's any of the windings on it are open on the bottom side. If the transformer doesn't measure any open windings, then our fault is either the heads are worn, which is the most likely scenario, is the heads are worn, or it's a failure in the preamp itself. And it would be the preamp switching is where the fault would be, if it were the preamp. But if that's being the case, I don't think we're going to be fixing this one, because this one it's not worth anything. Right? A VCR like this is maybe worth $20 or $30. So it's more of a, let's just see if we can spot where the problem is for gits and shiggles, as they say. Mechanism pops out relatively easy on these machines. There's a couple of screws on the bottom that need to come out. These red screws, there's actually, I think there's a third one, if I'm not mistaken, near the back. So I got to pop off this base plate, because I think if I remember correctly, there's a third red screw, and it's back here. Yeah, they're right here. Might not even be red on this one, but there's these two red screws down here, and there's a third one at the back here that needs to come out, otherwise the chassis won't release from the board. And of course, my screwdriver needs to be recharged. Got all the screws. Just lift out. It does. Another common problem with these is this IC here. The connections break on it. But we're going to remove the preamp. That way I can measure the winding on the transformer directly without the rest of the circuitry influencing it. So I'll just pop out the solder connections here. Hey! The tip blew off the end of my solder sucker. Alright, got everything unsoldered. The preamp lifts off. There are a few of those nasty caps on here, by the way. Another one of those modules. That could be the problem, because that's a preamp. This is the preamp circuit here, I think. The head goes in here. These ones are for the motor. Right, there's two connectors on here. One of them is for the direct drive motor. This goes down to the servo circuit. And the head plugs in here to these ones. This is the rotary transformer. And it goes into the preamp circuit, which is under here. And that is part of it. One of them might be doing the hi-fi audio preamp, and the other one is the video preamp. Anyway, we'll check the continuity of the different coils on the rotary transformer. See if we get continuity on all of them. I don't know which one's which, but I would imagine that they're probably all next to each other. So let's check this one here first of all. 3 ohms, that looks good. I don't know how they're wired. 3 ohms. Okay, that one looks good. Hey, it was measuring 3 ohms. I'll just measure between one and all the others and see if I get continuity between one and the next. But that one goes nowhere. How about the next one down? 27 ohms. So that's measuring in the mega ohm range. That side's measuring 27 ohms. 3 mega ohms. 3 ohms, that sounds about right. 6 ohms, so I think they're probably centered. Yeah, okay, you got a center tap. So there's one coil there, and there's the other coil there. And then there's this one here. That doesn't make sense, does it? There's 3 ohms there. I mean, we should have one coil for each head. So there should be a total of 6 coils, because there's 4 heads, right? 2 SP, 2 LP, and 2 audio heads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 showing here. So they must common ground 2 of them is what I'm thinking. So then this one must be common grounded through here. That's measuring 3 ohms. I would expect that there would be another one that's got continuity here as well. I'm not seeing it. I'm going to say it's a rotary transformer that's bad. This one here has 3 ohms across here, but when I go between that and any of the other ones, you see? This one's got nothing here, mega ohms range, but I've got continuity between 27 ohms, which I think should be a lot lower than that. If I move over to this next one, though, I've got 3.6 ohms, and on the other side I've got 4.1. So this one looks to be okay. That's going to be 2 of the heads, and the other 2 heads are over here. And then the hi-fi heads are down here, and it looks like that one's open too. I think that's how they're wired. One of them's showing continuity, the others are not. Just looking to see if any of the connections are bad on this side of the board where that plug goes in, but they look fine. I'm going to say this is a rotary transformer problem on this unit. I wonder if it's worth... This has now become scrap, this machine, right? I wonder if I can pull this rotary transformer apart just to examine it so we can see that what's going to have happened on here is the copper, or the glue that holds the rotary transformer together has failed. You can see the rotary transformer inside here. It's right in here. And to get to it, I have to pull the drum apart. I'm going to rip this one apart just to show you guys what's inside here. The rotary transformer shot on this. That's the fault. Which means this head, I should probably hang on to it because I think it's probably okay. So I got to pull the head drum off again to get to the point where I can tear this down. Now, even when these machines were still current, nobody would replace the rotary transformer because it was part of the lower drum, and that was a major expense. That was, halfway to the cost of a new machine back in the day. So basically, when that happened, which we never really saw it happen. I don't think I can't remember the last time I saw a rotary transformer fail, other than on my SLHF 1000, where it came apart and actually stopped the drums from turning. But it happens, but it wasn't a super common problem. All right, now to get this apart, I actually have to pull the spindle out. I got to do that from this side. I have to loosen off a bolt and probably take out a retaining clip to take out this. Take that off first. I got to take out a screw here, remove the rotor. We'll remove the entire drum is what we'll do. So I'll just drop out the drum, make it easier on myself. Screws are out, drum is loose. Got to pull the rotor off. I'll grab my hex keys and we'll remove the actual rotor itself. I'll grab my metric set and see whether it's a size that I have. Is it 2.5? Let's try 2.5. Oh, look at that. It's 2.5. Now I have to remove this clip that holds the shaft in. And then this should probably push through, which it does. And there is the rotary transformer. You'll see what makes it up. So it's just a series of coils. This is the side that the head connects to. You've got one coil for each head. So two heads there, two heads there. There's a gap, and then there's these inner two rings here for hi-fi or wherever they put the hi-fi. Typically there's a gap between each of them. So two heads here, there's a gap, two heads, a gap, and two heads. And then the same is on the reverse, down on this side. And this is where the problem is going to be. There's going to be a broken wire, or more than one broken wire on here, guaranteed, because we don't have continuity. And typically how they wire them is they wire two of these onto three terminals. So there's two heads are there, and the next two heads are there, and then the next two heads are there. And two of these are open, as we saw on Mr. Meter. Mr. Meter says two sets of them are open. Probably the hi-fi heads and one of the video heads is open, because we should have continuity. And not in the mega ohm range either. We're talking just a couple of ohms. If we look at the meter, okay, this is the good one, as I showed you guys before. It's got 3.6 ohms, and across both coils it's 6 ohms. I would expect to see 6 ohms across both of these coils, which I don't. I see 4 mega ohms, and I should expect to see around the same across both of these coils. I'm seeing like 9 mega ohms. So both of them are open. Actually, I think this one was good. That one was good. That's one of the hi-fi heads, I'm sure, or maybe it's one of the video heads. That one is bad. That's probably one of the video heads, because when I put it in freeze, I got a relatively better picture. So I'm sure this is one of the video heads. This is the other video head, and this one here is probably the hi-fi over here. Anyway, let's look at this close-up wise, and we'll dig out the microscope and take a look at the windings down here, because I'm sure this is probably where it's screwed. It's right in here where the wires cross over from one to the next. We'll probably find a damaged winding right down in here somewhere. Let me grab that microscope and we'll take a look at that. little close-up view of it on the microscope. All right, I got a shot on the microscope here. I'm actually going to record on the microscope. I got an SD card in here, so let me just start my recording. Pushing the wrong button. It looks like it's recording now. Okay, let's take a close look at this. This is the wiring going to the separate coils on here. So there's one set of coils comes off here, and you see where they got this glue down here. I bet you this is where the fault is right what we're looking at right down here. Right in, well, I can't even point to it. I'll get a pointer or something, but let me get my dental pick and see whether that's where the problem is. But what happens is the glue that they used to secure down these little fine wires, after a number of years, it attacks the wire and it makes the wire go open. And you can see where it's kind of green right in around here. And I bet you that wire is open right in here. Oh, look, there's where it's open right there. You can see it. Looks like that wire is damaged, doesn't it? It's one place it looks like it's damaged. It's really hard to see what I'm doing looking at the microscope and trying to figure out where the hell I am. Okay, that wire looks like it's broken right there. Does it not? Or if it's not, it's shorted. Over here, this one here, well, you can see, you know, it's just deteriorated. The insulation's damaged on it. It goes through this little channel down here. I should find an opening on these wires. And this is usually where it happens, is right in here. Maybe under where it crosses underneath this one. It looks, you can see green. Some more of that glue here that they use to glue down the wires. This one looks like it's actually even come right out of its groove. Right here, look. Where are we? Can't even see where I am. Right in here, okay. That looks like that wire's come out of the groove that it would normally have been in. It should have been in that little groove there all the way through. And that's where it exits and goes down to the little board. This is likely where the damage is, right in here. Because that glue is, what happens is it's the same crap that they used on circuit boards. And it becomes conductive and corrosive. You can see it's all chipping and falling apart. That glue that they used, or tape or whatever it was they used, but it breaks down and it attacks the wires, and then you end up with an open connection like we have. Now this is just one of them. I mean, this might be the one that's actually still working. Go to the next set in the middle here, which is this one here. Don't even know where I'm looking. This is impossible to see what I'm doing here. Okay, there's my next one. Again. To give you an idea how fine the wire is, look at the dental pick, how much bigger the dental pick is than the wire. That gives you an idea how fine this wire is. It is extremely fine. I'm looking to see if I can spot any place where it's actually broken and open, because we know that at least 3 of these windings has no continuity. Maybe right here. What is this? Maybe not. But where the wires cross each other. That looks bad right there. Look at this. Right there, that black. That's probably an open right there. You can see discoloration on this wire too, right? And it looks like that one's been rubbing right there as well. You see it just right there. That looks like an open right there. Yep. Oh yeah, you see? There's the open right there. That's where it's broken. And this one's probably also, the next one over is probably also broken right here. But there's one. And someone's probably going to say, oh, you can repair that. Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. You're not repairing this. This is junk. Looks like it's also probably right here too. Look at this, we're here. That one's broken right there too. You see. And this one's probably shot too. There was at least 3 that were bad that I found when I was measuring. 3 of these coils were open. There was continuity on 3, and 3 were open. Yeah, that one's broken right there. You can see it. There's the end of it. So that's what happened on this one. Rotary transformer failure. So needless to say, this VCR is not going to be going back together. This is one that's going to go to faulty parts. The head drum, the head itself might be okay. The upper drum might be okay on this one. It probably is. The failure on this was the lower drum, and this is what's going to happen with all these. There's another break looks down here. This is what's going to happen to all these machines as they age. Even when they're not being used, they just deteriorate. Yeah, that's broken too. You see there, that wire's broken. So that's pretty much it on this one. I'm going to stop my recording here on this. Hopefully I got it all recorded. Otherwise we'll be looking at the screen. The rotary transformer shot, which we knew because I was able to measure that with the meter. So this one is basically a lost cause. I'm not going to go any further on this one. We're going to shut off the microscope now because I think the battery needs to charge on it. It looks like it's a bit on the low side. We're going to say thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. And hopefully we'll have one that we can have a positive outcome on. Because this one here is garbage. Thanks for watching. Bye.